Once again, I welcome each and everyone to Goa Primary School, and the time finally has arrived, and our Honorable Minister, the Attorney General, Mr. Ayaz Gayum, has finally made his way up to Goa Primary School, and sir, on behalf of Bunibao community, I welcome to Goa Primary School, and without taking much time, I think I better give this mic to our Attorney General for his keynote address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting us to be here, and my apologies for the delay. There's a lot of traffic jam in Lambasa now. But thank you. As you know, that Honorable Minister Bala is here with us too. He's the Minister for Transport, but he's also the Minister, more importantly for tonight's purposes, the Minister responsible for Housing and Community Development. As you know, that in the budget that was announced this year for the 2018-2019 budget, we have set up a new ministry, called it Ministry of Housing and Community Development, because we as a government very keenly and sincerely believe that we need more Fijians to own more of their own homes, having secure leases, having long-term leases, because what it does, it actually develops and builds communities. And as you would have seen that in the budget, we have a huge focus on communities, on family in particular, and we can talk about those issues later on when we have question time, and please feel free to ask any questions you may have. But at the back of the room is, of course, the scheme plan, as some of you would know. Many of you, I understand, have been living here for decades as squatters. This is Itauke land on which you are living on, and government throughout Vanua Levu and also now Viti Levu too has identified different squatter settlements and different areas where people have been living for decades, some people for 60, 70 years, 40, 50 years, some for 10, 15 years, where they don't have secure title. And because they're living as squatters, they don't really have any legal rights as such to be able to enforce those rights. So what we have done is we've been spending quite a bit of money now identifying those areas. Some land that people live on, squatters, is on what you call government land or crown land or state land. So they're obviously a bit easier to deal with because it's owned by government, and then we've actually subdivided it. So we put roads, we put tar seal roads, we put water, we put electricity, we're putting street lights. Similarly, we've also in a number of areas, for example, two days ago, the Honorable Minister and I were in a place called Waindamundamu, which is near Koronivia. Those of you know me in the Sinu Nosori area, it's near Koronivia Research Station. A lot of your people are there, living there. A lot of people from Lambasa. So that's why whenever you soccer match, you see a lot of Lambasa flags flying there. Most of these people are from Lambasa. And we were there too. Some of them have been living there for quite a long period of time. And we're carrying out, in fact, the works has already started there. So these people are getting a road and electricity, water, connectivity. What we have done, we've actually leased the land directly from the landowners through TLTB. So government has gone and leased the land. We paid the landowners the market rate, whatever has been negotiated. We then sublease the land to the people who live there. So you yourselves, this Vunivau 1, Vunivau 2, you'll get actually what we call a secure lease. You'll get a 99-year lease. Now, part of the arrangement, of course, is many areas where you've had actually squatters living over a period of time. As you know, in some areas, people just build behind each other's place. There's disorganized way houses are built. We understand in your case, you have been slightly organized, so when we do the subdivision, you don't actually have to relocate homes. That's what I understand is happening. But I also, please, would urge you, in some instances, if there is a need to perhaps move some boundaries, please do so, because overall for your benefit. Everybody will get a share benefit. You don't want to have a situation where we subdivide the land, you get the lots, but the roads are very narrow. Then a few years' time, after you get the 99-year lease, you'll come and complain to government and say you build the road too narrow. 2 cars can't go past. So we have to think about the future. So when we do this subdivision, we have to ensure that we build road sizes that will suit traffic coming through, You of course will get, formal and legal connectivity to water, to electricity, and of course now with the subdivision that we carry out, we put things like street lights. So in your instance, that's what we're going to do. Funds have already been paid to the landowners, the Itaukea landowners. Government has secured the land. Now, of course, we have to do the scheme plan. The scheme plan is done, and then we finally have tenders called for. Then we get a company that will actually come and do the road works. We've done similar things like last night. I was in Naindovi, in Nanronga, in Duvu. Those of you who know Duvu would know that we've done a similar thing. People have been living there. Some of these people have been living, they were laborers from the CSR days. So they've been living there as laborers, and now they've informally been living there. And now again we'll give them a 99-year lease once it's done. Of course, the arrangements generally has been, of course, as with all leases, because you're getting a 99-year lease, you have to pay some money towards that to buy the lease. What we've done, the arrangements are that you pay that, though you don't have to pay lump sum, you pay it over a few years. Of course, you do your yearly lease payments. But what it does, ladies and gentlemen, is it gives you secure title over the land on which you live on. What it also means is that you can then use that lease to go to the bank and borrow money. Because the bank will then use that as mortgage, collateral. Say in Hindi, girvi. You can put it as girvi. You can use it. The banks will lend you money on that. So it means you can build proper homes. You can get a concrete home. The bank can take a mortgage over the property, the land, mortgage over the house. In the case that you do not pay, they of course can seize the land. But the whole idea is gives you access to finance. What I do want to also talk to you about is in the budget we have announced this year, we have also now, we're giving a grant to people who are building their first home. So those of you who are living on squatter land, which we are developing, if you now want to build a proper home, we'll treat it as if it's your first home. Okay? So you may have already built your house, but now because you're going to get secure title, we'll actually treat it as your first home. So if you earn less than $50,000 a year, you are entitled to get a $15,000 grant from government to build your first home. If you want to buy your first home, if you earn less than $50,000 a year, you're entitled to a $10,000 grant. But you have to go through a bank. That's how we manage it. Otherwise, we don't want to give people money straight into their hands. Some people might end up in the Lambasa nightclub or somewhere like that. So we need to ensure that the money actually goes towards the money that you're going to borrow from the bank, and we essentially are paying off your loan. Of course, those of you who have FNPF, you can also go and withdraw some of whatever monies you're entitled to build your home from the FNPF funds, whatever percentage you're allowed. So that's a very good initiative, because we believe that once you get your own home, you build your own concrete home, next time there's a cyclone, there's less opportunity of your home to get blown away. Less pressure on us, less pressure on you. Number two is that once you have also a secure title, then if you ever want to borrow any small amount of money, you don't have to go to the money lender. You can go to the bank and they'll use that again as security. So you're entitled to that. If you earn more than $50,000 a year, but less than $100,000 a year, you're entitled to $10,000 grant to build your first home and $5,000 grant to buy your first home. That's what we've done. We also have, ladies and gentlemen, announced in the budget, and a lot of people are already taking advantage of it, if you want to buy your first lease, the title to the lease, it has to be either crown land or state land or government land as we call it, or Itaukea lease. So we actually pay $10,000 as a grant for you to buy your first piece of land. When I say buy your first piece of land, meaning buying your first lease. And we give $10,000 towards that. We again don't give you the money, but we pay the money to the Itaukea Lands Trust Board, or we pay it to the Lands Department. So these are the three key provisions that we provided in the budget. So once you get the proper lease, once we've done the subdivision, you have all these opportunities. So, most of us aren't going to live until 99 years, as you know, but you will, some of you maybe in your 30s or 40s. Of course, when you pass on, you can actually then will it to your family members, your son or your daughter or your husband or your wife, whoever it is, you will it on to, because that title, of course, stays on for the next 99 years. So that's essentially what we have done, and you need to take advantage of these packages. Now, if you, for example, like I said, for the first two, where you get a grant if you earn less than $50,000 or less than $100,000, you go to the bank. For the payment of the first piece of land, you actually you fill out the form at the Legal Aid Commission office. The Legal Aid office is here in Lambasa. You fill out the form, and then they'll process it, and they'll make the payment towards the lease for you to be able to get proper title. It's not for Vakavanua arrangement. It's not for 1 year lease. It's not for 5 year lease. It's actually for the 99-year lease for residential purposes. It's not for you to go and set up a service station. It's for residential purposes. Okay? Or any other business. So these are the sort of three key components that I want to talk to you about. Of course, I'd like to take this opportunity also to talk to you very quickly, as I mentioned to you earlier on, about the initiatives for the families. Now, those of you who are women and who are working for somebody, instead of now you're getting 84 working days maternity leave, you'll now get 98 working days. We've now increased maternity leave by 2 weeks. So 14 working days. So that's what you're entitled to, and your employer has to pay you that, and you are allowed to take off that much time. We've also introduced 2 new additional leaves. One of them is what you call paternity leave. Paternity leave is only applicable for men. Men who are partners or husbands of women who give birth. So if, for example, this lady here, if I can use an example, if she's about to give birth, her husband, after she gives birth or before she gives birth or during her giving birth, her husband can take off 5 days from work. He doesn't have to take all 5 days. He can take 2 days now, 3 days later on, but when the child is when the child is born or about to be born. And that leave is fully paid by your employer. By law now they have to pay you. So that's one. The second one, sorry. The third one, of course, now is we have given what we call family care leave. So a lot of people, for example, like, God forbid, if I hear that my son has just had an accident and I have to take 3-4 days off work because he's very seriously injured and I have to go and stay at the hospital with him. Normally now when people have to work, they take 3-4 days off from the annual leave. These 5 days are specifically if somebody gets sick in your family. You have to look after family. So for example, somebody may need to stay back because the parents have gone ill, or the husband has gone ill, or the wife's gone ill, or the children have gone ill. They can take these 5 days off. And of course you don't have to take them all off at once, and your employer now legally must pay you on those days. Some people have said to us, you're giving these people too many leaves. I say, well, no. In fact, these are required leaves. And of course, if nobody gets sick in my family, I don't have to take my 5 days leave. Don't make up a story, about it. But the whole idea is that when you get this leave, people at least will think, look, I'm being looked after. So when I go to work, hopefully you give 110% when you're working. Because you can also get sick leave, you get annual leave, paternity leave, you get now family care leave. But the time that you are working, we want you to be productive. So these are some of the initiatives we've announced, ladies and gentlemen. I'm quite happy to take any questions you may have. The Honourable Minister, of course, for Housing and Community Development is here. We have 2 of our MPs who are here with us too. Honourable Balminder Singh, Honourable Alvik Maharaj. Honourable Alvik Maharaj is, of course, from Vanolevu. But should you have any questions in respect of the site development, or obviously Minister Bala is here, but I think they've fully briefed you about that. But should you have any other questions, please feel free to ask any questions you may have now. Some of you may have some individual problems, individual issues. If I could ask you to, we've got other staff here who can talk to you about it afterwards. We can take down your details. But if you have some general questions in respect of some of the initiatives, then please feel free to ask, and we can then, of course, answer those questions. Okay? Thank you very much. Pinaka. Okay, gentlemen here, gentlemen there.